are breaking at this hour. We're getting you details of relief for Aryan Khan. NCB has given a clean chit to Aryan Khan in the drug case is what we are learning just now. We have a confirmation coming in that there is relief for Shah Rukh Khan's son, Aryan Khan, who has been given a clean chit by the Narcotics Control Bureau. There is no charge sheet that has been filed against Aryan Khan and 5 others is what we are learning. So the charge sheet does not mention Aryan Khan and 5 others. It's a confirmation from the Deputy Director General of the Narcotics Control Bureau. Lack of evidence, Mustafa, is what the NCB says, giving a clean chit to Aryan Khan.
Yes, absolutely. The NCB press note itself says that this investigation which was carried out, it was carried out in an objective manner, which means it raised questions on the previous investigation. The case came to light in October 2021 when Cordelia cruise was raided for drugs. And after that, Aryan Khan and his friends were arrested, and then about 20 total arrests happened in this entire case, in which what we have been told is that Aryan Khan has been given a clean chit. He has not mentioned in the charge sheet. There are few more names which are coming forward which are related to this case who are arrested, but because there is no sufficient evidence against these people, hence this, they have been given, they have not even mentioned in the charge sheet as an accused. So that's a big development in this entire case. So we remember Aryan Khan getting arrested and the entire controversy around it of his possessing drugs, his friends possessing drugs, and he being arrested and spending about 14 to 18 days behind jail. Now it turns out that there was no sufficient evidence, and that's the reason that the NCB has not named him in the charge sheet. Remember, NCB SIT was investigating this case, and they had asked for an extension. After 180 days, they had asked for a 60-day extension, after which today they have filed charge sheet in which 6 people, including Aryan Khan, are not mentioned as an accused.
Also, the NCB, Mustafa, has clearly said that no drugs were found in the possession of Aryan Khan and Mohak.
Yes. So that was initially the argument that while the remand was going on, NCB had not found any drugs, and the questions were being raised why. Then he was arrested, and now it looks like the entire investigation has been done in the case, and sufficient evidence was not found against Aryan Khan to even name him as an accused in the entire case, and hence he has been given a clean chit.
Given the superstardom status of Aryan Khan's father, Shah Rukh Khan, this matter had received a lot of attention, and even at that point in time, there were allegations that because the father is powerful, strings would have been pulled. I think this also, in a way, puts all of this to rest, given that the NCP has spoken about how the SIT has been credited with following this case, with investigating this case in a fair manner, talking about how there are 14 others against whom a charge sheet has been filed, Mustafa.
Yes, of course. We remember that there were 2 officers of the NCB, the superintendent level officers, who were transferred out from Mumbai, and this was one of the reasons that the investigation is done during the tenure was under question, and hence the SIT had been brought in. And yes, when you look at the charge sheet and Aryan Khan is not named, it means that there was not sufficient evidence for making an arrest of him in this case, and that was a very argued thing. So that really, the NCB SIT press note also clears the picture that says that this investigation by them was conducted in an objective manner, and hence they have not found any evidence. For lack of evidence, 6 accused who were booked in this case are no more. They have been given the clean sheet, and they will not be an accused in the charge sheet, and no trial will be done against them. So you can really say that if the agency has gone and not even named an accused, which means that there must be not an iota of evidence against them to even make them accused or carry out trial against them. Back to you.
This means that further on, Mustafa, explain this to us, there will not be any further trouble for Aryan Khan?
Yes, exactly. Because he has not been given named as an accused, and he has been basically discharged from this entire case. So there will be no case against Aryan Khan, because the agency which has to follow up on this investigation has only said that there is lack of evidence. Aryan Khan cannot be made an accused in the case.
Big story breaking at this hour. Relief for Aryan Khan, Shah Rukh Khan's son, in the Narcotics Control Bureau drug bust case, where the NCB has come out and clearly said that there was no evidence against Aryan Khan and 6 others. Mustafa, take us to the details of the 14 others in the dock right now against whom the charge sheet has been filed.
Well, what we know of is that among the people who have not been given clean sheet, Aryan Khan's friends who were arrested with him at that point of time, Arbaz Merchant and Munmun Dhancha, are not named. So yes, Arbaz Merchant and Munmun Dhancha remain an accused in the charge sheet, and they are in the the accused in this entire case, and trial will be carried out against them. But those who have not been named in the charge sheet, their names are yet to come out. But yes, it remains that Aryan Khan's name is clearly not there as an accused in the charge sheet.
Getting details of Aryan Khan getting relief. Any reaction, Mustafa, just yet? I know it's just, the story has just broken at this hour with the Narcotics Control Bureau issuing a statement to this effect. But what do we know about the kind of relief it would have brought to Shah Rukh Khan and his family today?
Well, yes, of course, you can say that it's a relief for Aryan Khan, for the Khan family, because Aryan has not been named as an accused in the charge sheet. At the same time, the other five people who have not been named in the charge sheet, and also the questions will now be raised on what kind of investigations and what intentions with this investigations which was done, after which Aryan Khan and other people were arrested, but 6 people who have not found any evidence against them, and has NCB had to remove their names as accused in the charge sheet. So that raises questions, and there are many other cases which are being investigated by the NCB SIT, and their charge sheet also can be filed, and some anomalies can also be come out. So it looks like at that point of time, the arrest of Aryan Khan was not the right thing to do.
Yes, that is of course a part of the investigations. But here, and I read this from what the NCB essentially has said, that the SIT carried out its investigation in an objective manner. The touchstone of the principle of proof beyond reasonable doubt has been applied, and that's the reason why Aryan Khan, along with others, has got proof. There was no drugs, Mustafa, that was found on him. And where is, in fact, the crime if there were no drugs sought? Is the question that the NCB is asking, and of course has said that Aryan Khan is somebody who's not a part of the charge sheet. Mustafa.
Yes, of course, and there are more names which are now coming. There is one person named as Samir Sehgal, others as Bhaskar Arora. These are the people who are arrested at that point of time. Their names are also not mentioned in the charge sheet. So yes, the questions are being raised.
Be with us. Mukul Rohatgi, in fact, is joining us. Mukul Rohatgi, your first reaction to the Narcotics Control Bureau saying that there was no proof against Aryan Khan. Okay, we'll just go back to Mukul Rohatgi in a bit from now. But remember, we're getting the story at this hour. A big relief to Shah Rukh Khan's son, Aryan Khan, in the drug bust case from the 2nd of October, where the Narcotics Control Bureau has come out and issued a statement saying that previously intercepted Vikrant, Ishmeet, Arbaz, Aryan and Gomit at International Port Terminal, and others also at the Cordelia cruise. These people were accused. Some of them were found in possession of narcotics, but this was not the case in as far as Aryan and Mohak is concerned. The big story is that there was no proof found, essentially. The touchstone of the principle of proof beyond reasonable doubt. No narcotics found on Shah Rukh Khan's son, Aryan Khan. Remember, he was also in the custody of the Narcotics Control Bureau that was investigating this entire matter. It was the SIT, in fact, and the NCB looking at this entire matter. The Narcotics Control Bureau continues to say that the SIT carried out its investigation in an objective manner. Based on the investigation, charge sheet has been filed against 14. Big relief for Shah Rukh Khan's son, Aryan Khan, who's got relief in the drug bust case, where the Narcotics Control Bureau has come out and said that there was no proof, there was no drugs found on Aryan Khan, and that's the reason why he, along with 5 others, have not been named in the charge sheet. However, the charge sheet has been filed against 14 others in this entire matter that dates back to the 2nd of October. This was the high-profile Cordelia cruise drug bust matter, where the Narcotics Control Bureau has come out and said that based on an input that the Narcotics Control Bureau from Mumbai that had received on the 2nd day of October last year, they had intercepted Vikrant, Ishmeet, Arbaz, Aryan and Gomit at International Port Terminal, MBPT and Nupur Mohak and Munmun at the Cordelia cruise. All the accused were found in possession of narcotics except Aryan and Mohak, is what has been said by the Narcotics Control Bureau. The Narcotics Control Bureau has come out and said the SIT carried out its investigation in an objective manner. The touchstone of the principle of proof beyond reasonable doubt has been applied. Based on the investigation carried out by the SIT, a complaint against 14 people has been registered and charge sheet filed. Shiv Arur, our executive editor, is also with us. Shiv, obviously the spotlight was on Aryan Khan, given his father's high-profile status. But today the Narcotics Control Bureau has come out and said nothing was found on him and 5 others, and hence the clean chit.
They're going to have to answer for the fact that Aryan Khan was in jail for 22 days. He was the subject matter of national media, drama and almost obsessive coverage of his every move of the, Khan family of Shah Rukh and Gauri Khan. So somebody is going to have to justify this and answers will have to be sought. Now, India Today's news break on this big story, which everyone else is following, is also important because remember, Aryan Khan was in jail for 22 days. During that time, the Narcotics Control Bureau, led by, the infamous Sameer Wankhede, had made it look like they had a waterproof case. They made it look like they needed to get more, custody of Aryan Khan because they had basically claimed in hearing after hearing, if you remember, Sneha, that this was a case that was airtight. There was no question of...
Shiv, be with us. In fact, Mukul Rohatgi is joining us. Mukul Rohatgi, you had spoken about this matter previously also being stretched, the case against Aryan Khan being stretched too far. Today, the same NCB has come out and said nothing was found in Aryan Khan and hence the charge sheet doesn't have his name there. How do you react to this?
Oh, Madam, I am very relieved and I am sure the young man and his father are equally relieved. It was clear to me from day one when the matter was heard for bail in the High Court that there was no material against this young man. He was not in possession of any drugs and there was no reason why he should have been arrested. I think it was a hasty decision in the heat of the moment. But anyway, the truth has prevailed. It's unfortunate that he spent 25 days in jail. But according to me, now the whole chapter should be treated as closed and one should look to the future and that's it.
Yes, Mr. Mukul Rohatgi, be with us. My colleague Shiv Arur is also on the line with us. He'd like to ask you a few questions. Shiv.
Mr. Rohatgi, what kind of questions, in your view, sir, does this raise on the manner in which the Narcotics Control Bureau conducted this case? Aryan Khan was in jail for 22 days. In hearing after hearing, more custody was sought at that time, as we all saw. What questions does this raise on the Narcotics Control Bureau, sir?
See, it's like a plus and a minus both. The minus is they acted hastily. They arrested this young man without any material. That was a grievous mistake because you are playing with somebody's life and liberty. That's the minus. The plus is that after 8 months and after full investigation, the NCB has realized and they have been gracious enough to admit their mistake and they have filed a charge sheet where this young man is not charged. So that's the plus. All I would say is that all prosecution agencies, whether it is NCB, whether it is PMLA, whether it is CBI, they should be cautious in arresting people. Under the law, the right to arrest does not mean that arrest must be invariably done. It is the last resort only to secure that the person should not run away, that an arrest is made. If that be so, they should be cautious in future not to arrest people just because of being a little hasty or overstepping their jurisdictions, because it has a very bad and a very lasting effect on young people especially. So that's the word of caution I would request the NCB in this particular case to keep in view.
Yes.
But as I said, the past chapter should be over and we should look at the future.
Mr. Roth, just a couple more questions, sir. Do you think heads should roll at the Narcotics Control Bureau? I appreciate that, you and your client would like to move on, but given the manner in which this was covered, given in which, the custody was repeatedly sought,
no, sir, now,
at the Narcotics Control Bureau, sir.
It is for the NCB to have an in-house inquiry. It is for them to decide as to who overstepped what, who was hasty, whether rules were followed or not followed. I don't think it is for me or my clients to comment on that. They should have an introspection. If something wrong has been done by somebody, then a proper inquiry and a proper procedure should be followed. But I don't think we should get involved in it.
But don't you think Aryan Khan, as his lawyer, sir, don't you think Aryan Khan and his family are owed some answers? Today is a day of great vindication for them. They were extremely dignified through the entire process.
What other answers are owed? It is a fact that the NCB has realized that there is no failure and they have said so. I mean, what other answer is required? The answer is only the fact that they were hasty in arresting people. That was wrong. And they themselves have admitted it now, that it was wrong, and I think that should be the end of it.
Do you think because it was a celebrity face like Aryan Khan, sir, that's the reason why, and thanks to the entire media glare, that the Narcotics Control Bureau saw this as a soft target to go big with? I mean, there are so many questions of this kind that pertain India at large, sir. That's why I'm asking you.
I cannot speculate on the reasons why he was arrested, why it was hasty, but one thing is clear, and you are right there, that there was media glare and a celebrity was involved. These are contributing factors. Thank you very much. I need to go now.
Okay.
The person you are speaking with has put your call on hold.
Neha, that was Mukul Rohatgi saying, giving the very distinct impression that, they'd like to move forward. Obviously, an extremely unsavory, extremely, difficult time for Shah Rukh Khan's son and the entire family. And from Mukul Rohatgi's words, I think it's pretty clear they don't want to have anything more to do with this, and they want to move on from this entire business. That's the sense we're getting. So there's no anger, or at least outward anger, about what happened. I think there is a sense of vindication, but they'd like to move on from it.
Yes, Shiv, even at that point in time, the allegations that the NCB was making did seem a little outlandish. Not just for Mukul Rohatgi, was arguing on behalf of Aryan Khan, but to others as well, when they said that there was a commercial angle to this, that there is a syndicate that the NCB was looking at, isn't it?
Most certainly. And remember, India Today's coverage at the time as well had constantly raised the pertinent questions right through it. We had the most factual reportage in September, October last year when this happened, Sneha. And if you remember, from the time when the private investigators were spotted, to the questions that were being asked, to the leakage of photographs of Aryan Khan, to the questioning of Pooja Dadlani. All of those facts had questions surrounding them. And at every stage, India Today had raised those questions, which is why our coverage in many ways is also vindicated by what has actually taken place right now. Throughout our primetime coverage, we raised the question over whether more arrest is actually necessary, whether the restrictions on Aryan Khan were actually, necessary at this point of time. And I think the entire glare that shifted to Sameer Wankhede on the back of what happened with Aryan Khan, in many ways allowed this entire story to unravel in such a humiliating way. And may I just say that for the Narcotics Control Bureau, the questions are explosive. They've got a lot of answering to do. Mukul Rohatgi is on record to say that, an internal inquiry will bring out the facts. My sense is, will heads actually roll at the Narcotics Control Bureau? Of course, Sameer Wankhede, faced some sort of action, as the zonal chief of the NCB in Mumbai. But beyond that, the public at large became invested in this story, Sneha. Therefore, it needs to go well beyond just departmental proceedings and little press notes about what has actually happened. The public is owed answers. Millions of Shah Rukh Khan's fans, who felt emotionally invested in what is happening. No matter what anyone thinks of Shah Rukh Khan, this is a country that follows the law of the land. And I think the many people believe that last year there was a generous dollop of tamasha that took place. And now even the Narcotics Control Bureau has pretty much admitted that by putting this press note saying no charges and reasonable doubt.
Yes.